Hello, everyone. This is Bill Apter, and I just finished taping an episode of Count It Out with Mike and Tyler, or Tyler and Mike. They're brilliant hosts. You've got to listen. You've got to see. Count It Out. Yeah, I endorse it. They've got the After Chat seal of approval.
Hey, this is Lenny Leonard from Dragon Gate Evolve, Ring of Honor, Shimmer, Shine, pretty much everywhere indie wrestling is on your computer. You're listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Well, we are live, pals. Just want to drag that out a little bit for some reason today. Welcome to another edition of the Bill Apter Sealed of Approved. Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. My name is Tyler. I am joined by a man who I think is watching his cat take a shit right now.
You know exactly what, from a man who this happens to on a regular basis as well. You know why did she choose the minute we press record to come take a big fucking steamer right here, right now?
Well, that is the one and only Bandage Mike. And I call him Bandage Mike for a reason, because before we came on air, Mike was complaining that being the great dad that he is, his son got a boo-boo today and did not want to put a Band-Aid on. So Mike decided, Daddy will put a Band-Aid on too. And his son got to pick where to put it. He put it on the hairiest part of Mike's arm. And for all of our listeners now, Mike has been too scared to rip this thing off, and I am putting him on the spot to rip it out live on air, Count It Out style.
I have not agreed to this.
And hold it on up there.
Dude, this is gonna hurt. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if this comes off on air. Like, I have hairy arms.
You got hairy arms.
Yeah.
I think that this is gonna be underwhelming, but I hope it hurts a lot.
It's in there.
Well, let's do a little Royal Rumble 3, 2, 1 countdown, and let's all join in Mike's pain. 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Fucking, where's the camera?
That is absolutely disgusting. Put that away. We just lost 5 viewers immediately. You're disgusting, but your pain brings me great joy. Other than your boo-boo, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm not Mojito Mike this week. I'm Salty Mike.
Yeah, that's every fucking week.
Drinking this beautiful Waterloo salted caramel beer.
Well, let's see if you're going to turn me into Salty Tyler this week. And you do your list, the top 7 greatest opening matches in the history of the Survivor Series.
I'm torn on this one, dude, because I'm going to say, number one, I did my work this week. I spent 2 weeks. I watched 34 matches. Not 35, because the 35th happened just last night. And I did not, as of recording, obviously, and I did not watch Survivor Series last night.
I only watched that match, and
I meant to watch the match just to be able to see if I can shove it on my list, but I just didn't get around. I had a very busy day today, just couldn't get around to it. I know the outcome, and I've seen the many pictures and memes that have been thrown out today because of Becky's very beautiful attire.
They call her Becky Two Belts, but last night it was Becky Two Cheeks hanging out, man. Holy moly, Becky Lynch.
You know, good for her.
And the match was fantastic. It was very good, by the way. It was a good match. I don't know if it would make a top 7.
Is it top 7 though?
I got to hear your list first, because there are, like, I'm thinking of a few in my head, and I can't remember all of them off the top of my head because
we're talking seven matches, and then I let me check here. I think I have like 7 honorable mentions as well. Mm-hmm. So I want to see if it even touches my honorable mentions.
It would definitely be an honorable mention. It might squeak into, a 5 to 8 or 5 to 7 spot on the list, maybe, depending on what it is. I'll be the judge of that towards the end of the episode here.
Let me tell you how serious I took this list this week. Not only did I watch 34 matches, but then after 34, I broke that 34 and I got it down to 15. And then I needed to get that 15 down to 7, obviously. Well, I got that 15 down to 12. I took that 12 and I watched them again.
No kidding, eh?
And I got my 7. And then to be able to do proper notes for everything and to be able to really entertain on this show today, I took my 7 and I watched them again.
Man,
So
two firsts this
matches,
week. You're
these
giving us
matches-
2 firsts this week, Mike. It's going to be the
Well-
first time that you've ever done research on a list, and the first time that you're ever going to be entertaining on the show. I cannot wait for this. It's going to be
You're
amazing.
fucking
Ladies and
hilarious.
gentlemen, buckle in. Mike is going to entertain us this week.
I have done my research for the show several times in the past. This is not the first time I've watched 30 plus matches for a show. Let's just say that much.
That is fair. You do put in your work.
Between my last man standing list and my what was it? Was it not Fall Guard? My Spring Stampede list. No, those are both a lot of matches.
That's fair. That's fair. You just got to become
However,
smarter like me and pick topics where you barely have to watch anything.
However, before getting into that, we do have. I got a small note I want to talk about, and you came up with a great topic for today's point of discussion. Before we should come up with a name, or maybe we should let our listeners vote on a name for this little segment, our little point of discussion.
All right, Rob and Steve, Rob and Steve Bourne, or maybe Adam sometimes.
You know what? No, I'm gonna. We haven't done shout outs in a long time. I'm gonna do some shout outs. We shout out Ray and we shout out Rob and Steve all the time. I want to shout out Matt Sookum, who I know has been listening, and I couldn't be happier that he's been listening. I want to shout out Jeff DeHaan and Adam Contant. They've both been back on listening again. So thanks a lot, boys. We really, really appreciate it.
I'm gonna give one to Kerr, our good buddy Kerr from the Ginger and Dutch. Well, it's not Ginger and Dutch anymore. It's Ginger's Gridiron. What's it called? Fuck, he changed the name of it. Triple G's podcast.
Yes.
Gridiron and Golf. There it is. I was like, what's the other sport? It's golf. The guy's a fucking golf pro. Jesus. Kerr's always been the best. He's been a great hand ever since day one when we started this.
A former guest host of the show.
Former guest host in the archive, greatest European champions list of all time. But him and I, we both started our shows at the exact same time, and neither one of us knew what we were doing. And most people would say we still don't know what we're doing. And we're always been good at giving each other feedback. I'm a little behind on his show right now.
Kerr's been really successful. If you're a footballer or a golf fan, go check out Kerr's show.
Especially if you're a football fan, Kerr, like the respect I have for him as an interviewer. He's getting all these beat reporters from NFL teams every week on his show, and he's holding his own, man. So if you're a football fan and you want to learn some shit and you want to hear somebody ask good questions to people that know their shit, go check out the Triple G podcast.
Absolutely.
But he's still a fucker at the end of the day. Can't put him over too much. But he will be at Barry Wrestling as well this week, this month.
Oh, shit.
He's coming up for the show.
All right. I'm really hoping that our friends Adam and my buddy that I know you've heard me talk about, Ray, they may be there as well. A couple other buddies I've been talking to. Our good friend Wilson will be there. So this is going to be a big one, man.
Yeah.
We might have a lot of friends coming out and
trying to twist the arm of friend of the show Blake as well to come on up.
We have some big plans. We have some big plans for the show. We've been in talks with some wrestlers to really get our name out there and be involved this time. So we're really looking. It's going to be fun. I can't wait for the
finals of the All Ontario Cup. We sponsored it. I can't wait for it.
Absolutely.
All right, why don't we get in? Let's get into business here. Why don't we get into why don't we get into what you want to talk about real quick, and then we'll get into the discussion point there.
I'm gonna go. This is really quick because it's brand new news, so I'm not allowed to talk about yet. But our boy, Jonathan Gresham, man, he didn't. You can't catch that dude sleeping. ROH isn't even in the grave yet, and that guy's already moving. You know, people are thinking, what is he going to do? Is he going to sign with AEW? Is he going to sign with Impact? Is he going to keep running the Indies? Nah, man, that man knows what he wants and knows what he wants in wrestling. So the best way to do that is how? Start your own promotion. Coming very soon, I believe next month, will be the first show of a promotion called Terminus. Also, as a side name, modern grappling arts or something like that. Modern grappling. Very cool. It's him and some dude from Baron Black from AEW. Do you know that guy? No.
No.
The two of them own the promotion. They announced today that they have. I say signed, but it's an indie promotion, so it's not real contracts.
Yeah.
But they have signed their first talent, which is really cool. It is current AEW star and former Barry Wrestling alum Danny Garcia.
Nice. That's a great addition.
What a first name to bring on, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm excited. You know what? I will
because
try to check that out.
because this is going to be a wrestling promotion for wrestling fans. This is the for wrestlers. You know what I mean? So Dangle Garcia is a great name to pop on here first.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Maybe we'll check that out. And I want to put this out there to the listeners as well. You mentioned Ring of Honor, and unfortunately, Ring of Honor will be shutting down. Who knows for how long? If it will come back after Final Battle. That leaves a big void in our wrestling world there. Not that I got a chance to watch a lot of wrestling, but I know you watch a lot of Ring of Honor. What promotion should we be checking out to fill in for that? MLW maybe, NWA?
I'm going MLW right now just because I'm excited. They just signed Jeff Cobb. Well, not even Jeff Cobb. What was his name?
I can't remember his
I don't know what they're calling him here because they can't use the same names, but it's the same character he played in Lucha Underground.
Yeah, I like how they've got that Lucha Underground tie-in with MLW. And Savio Vega's there.
This is a great time to get into MLW right now because they kind of rebooted their Fusion program. It's called Fusion Alpha. And they're only like 8 or 9 episodes in. So it's an easy jump on YouTube and you can go back and catch up really quick instead of having to catch up on years and years of shit. And right from the get-go, it's got really, if you're a fan of Lucha Underground, MLW is for you.
Yeah.
Right away, Dario Cueto is there in your face. And man, this is what I'm going to be feeling.
I think I'm with you. I think I'm with you on MLW. They got Sapio Vega in there. They've got Dario Cuertes in there from Lucha Underground. Alicia Tout, our little local girl, she's in there as well. I also, if you're a fan of the history of professional wrestling, the Von Erich boys are in there. The new generation of Von Erichs. I think that's where I'm gonna kind of veer over towards and maybe try to check out a little bit of.
If you saw the news today, actually, MLW has announced that they're kind of jumping in on the whole quote unquote forbidden door deal. They said to all of the new releases, to all of the free agents out there, we have an open door policy.
Yeah, I like that. That's smart.
I like that too. It's great. It's great. It's a great way to get your name out there. What do they have to lose? Nothing at all.
And it's great, like even just getting these guys, even if they come in for one shot, you know what I mean? Having a guy like, say, Dalton Castle, who just won the Ring of Honor World Television Championship, having him pop in for one shot, or having I don't know, whatever WWE person's been released, imagine they get a guy like Braun Strowman for one shot, just bringing eyes onto the product, right? Smart.
Johnny Fusion.
There you go, right? Johnny Fusion,
right? Johnny
MLW.
Well, the show's called Fusion, so Johnny Fusion, and they or he could be Johnny Mundo. Who knows? They've already got a real Lucha Underground feel. He's a former Lucha star, right? So
former champion.
That would work. Yeah. I'm really excited about. I want to see what they can do. My new major goal for 2022 is to get Court Bauer on this show.
All right, start sending them tweets, guys. Court Bauer would be great to talk to. The history, and even dating back to the first run of MLW, he's a former writer for the WWE as well. Yeah, he's got some good stories.
Yeah,
he's got some great
stories.
All right, man. Wait, before we get on the topic, just want to make a quick note there. Kenny Omega going to be out of action for a little while there. He relinquished a AAA championship today. Looks like shoulder surgery.
He was going to be able to drop it, but his injuries are just that bad. They didn't want to risk it. Fair enough. Good for him. That sucks. I think it only sucks because he held that title for what's like 700 some days.
Yeah, it was like a few years. Yeah.
On one hand, what a shitty way to for that to end. But on the other end, because if he was this big babyface hero character, this would suck. But he can make this work for him.
Yeah. Kenny's good. Hopefully, speedy recovery for him. And then did you end up watching that clip I sent you of American Dragon on AEW this week, his heel turn?
No.
I
don't
sent
remember you sent, I'm sorry, I don't remember you sending me a clip.
I sent you the promo that he cut with Hangman, because I remember you and I were talking about it, and we were like, oh, did the crowd just turn on him? Oh no, he turned full on heel, and
Really?
it was so good. He was the best thing happening in wrestling right now, as far as I'm concerned. I love
Okay.
the cuffs are off him.
I will hold my opinions back until I get to see this.
Very throwback.
I must have missed that.
Very throwback to his 2006 Ring of Honor
I want to
World
say,
Championship.
where does this fall compared to 2006?
Very,
Okay.
very similar. The sentences that he says are great. And what I love about it, and this is the point that I was listening to John and Waiting on Post Wrestling, and John Pollock brought this up, and I love it. He hasn't changed anything about himself.
He never does.
He's still saying the stuff, but because he's saying it to Hangman Page now, and he's the guy. Hangman's the people's champ, right?
That's one thing I've always respected about both Dragon and CM Punk. And you don't catch me talking about respecting CM Punk too often. What I love about those two characters is they never really need to change what they do or what they say. It's how they do it and how they say it. Punk is always going to be that straight edge guy, but it's depending on, hey man, I'm your straight edge guy. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me. Or I'm straight edge and I'm better than you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same dude, same character. One's a dick, one's not. Same thing can be said about Daniel Bryan. You got this lovable bearded hippie who, just doing his fucking yes thing and everybody loves him. And I'm a vegan. Ha ha ha. Yay. Everybody loves me. Or, hey, I'm a fucking vegan. If you're not, you can go suck a dick. And I have this fucking bamboo title belt. You know what I mean? Like same character, no difference in the character, but you take that one part and you elevate it. It's genius. They're both amazing at their craft when it comes to that stuff.
Like some of the lines he was dropping on Hangman Page, he's like, I didn't know cowboy shit meant flapping your gums because I'm out here wrestling every week and you're talking. And he's like, when I won the world title at WrestleMania, and you would have thought that he shot the Pope, mentioning, ooh, WWE WrestleMania, boo, boo, right? I fought the next night and you're not dressed to fight. And then Hangman's like, we'll fight you right now then. And he's like, no. It's like, I know you, and I know you have a history of making excuses when you lose. And he was so good. You have to go out of your way to watch it. I love the angle he's doing now.
I cannot wait to watch it because that sounds like
and then he fought Evil Uno, and he beat up Evil Uno. And now the storyline is every week he's going to fight a different member of the Dark Order until he gets to Hangman.
Oh yeah, well he's got Cabana next week, right?
He's got Cabana in Chicago next week. Yeah, I'm really excited to see where this goes.
I'm excited to go. I'm actually going to tune in next week to watch him face Cabana because that's fucking ROH shit right there. But I had to laugh. I'm sorry, but CM Punk versus QT Marshall does nothing for me at all.
Yeah, but I think it'll be perfect.
Am I the only guy who can't stand that doesn't see the draw in QT Marshall?
I don't see the appeal to him from an in-ring standpoint. He's never done anything much for me, but behind the scenes, he's one of the big dogs behind the scenes. Him and Tony Khan are they're writing the shows together. QT is like the unsung hero of AEW.
Oh, so he's the Delirious.
He is the Delirious. Yeah, he's the unsung hero of AEW for sure. He does a lot for the company. Speaking of unsung heroes, let's get into the discussion point here.
Let's do this.
Sunday at the Survivor Series, a lot of stuff happened, but one thing that happened that you got to tip your cap to is Randy Orton becoming the person who has competed in the most WWF/WWE pay-per-view matches in the history of the company. I've got some stats here.
If I'm not mistaken, it was Kane's record he beat.
He just beat Kane's record, and that's going to continue to grow, bearing any type of injuries or firings or whatever. You never know. The way they're gassing people.
Considering Kane's not around to help, through fire. And I don't know who's in second place, but whoever it is has to be far behind him.
Yeah, he's sitting at 177 pay-per-view matches. So the question I'm going to pose here, I want to pose a question, but then I'm going to bang out some stats, okay?
Sure.
Is Randy Orton underrated?
Wow.
Because when you talk about the greatest wrestlers in WWF,
hard.
WWE history,
His name doesn't come up.
never even mentioned, right? So let me bang off some stats while you think about this, okay? Because I've got a whole bunch of them here, all right?
Yeah.
177 pay-per-view matches. 109 of those matches were main events. His pay-per-view record is 77 wins, 4 draws, and 97 losses. He has had 5 world title matches at WrestleManias, 2 of them being in the main event. He has had 8 world title matches at SummerSlam and 5 main events at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
If we take a look at his championship accomplishments here, 10 times he's been the WWE champion. 4 times he's been the world heavyweight champion. He is a 1-time Intercontinental champion, a 1-time United States champion.
Which, by the way, sorry to cut you off, ties him with only Triple H.
For what?
For 14 world titles.
I believe so.
So
I think he's in second or third of the company. Flair, Cena.
It would be he's tied with second place.
Yeah.
Flair and Cena are tied with first. Triple H and Orton would be tied with second.
I don't know if Edge is up there either. I don't think Edge is up there as much.
I think he might be in third place, but it's a long.
I can tell you right now because I'm actually on, believe it or not, I'm on Edge's Wikipedia. And if we take a look, he is a 4-time WWE champion and a 7-time world heavyweight champion. So no, he's not.
Yeah, so he's got some work to do. Yeah.
1-time Intercontinental champ, 1-time United States champion, a world tag
Randy
team.
only had the IC once.
Yeah. Wow. What a reign it was too. It's memorable.
Really
one of the greatest IC champs of all time.
It was such a great reign that I can't believe like that was only one. Like, wow, good for him.
He had the belt for, I believe, just over a year. I think he had it.
It's very difficult, especially this day and age, to be a memorable 1-time champion.
Yeah, absolutely. 1-time United States champion, world tag team champion with Edge 1 time, the current Raw tag team champion with Riddle. He was a SmackDown tag team champion with Bray Wyatt and with Luke Harper. He is a Money in the Bank winner and a 3-time Royal Rumble winner. 2-time Royal Rumble winner? 2-time Royal Rumble winner.
Yeah, he
2009.
Only Austin won it 3 times.
Yeah, 2009 and 2017. Randy Orton has won the Royal Rumble twice. So, why doesn't Randy Orton?
I think the only accolade he doesn't have is King of the Ring. Like,
yeah, he's like a Grand Slam champion, a Triple Crown champion, all that shit. Like,
to answer.
So why aren't we talking about Randy Orton as much as we're talking about a guy like The Undertaker?
Well, there's the shitty thing. We are. I think there are certain circles that definitely do respect him in those lights. And you and I mean, hell, this goes back to our first ever live show when we did SummerSlam. We did a Randy Orton list because we see Randy Orton in that light as one of the greatest of all times.
You know what, I'm going to be guilty here, and I'm going to call myself out. I don't give Randy Orton the respect he deserves.
You and I, but I don't think you're giving yourself the credit you deserve, because you and I have talked off air and have both agreed that he is most likely in the top 10 greatest performers in the history of the WWE.
I put him not from an in-ring standpoint, but I'd say that he's more accomplished than Bret Hart's WWF run.
I'm saying performer as in the full package, that he is definitely one of the best. He is one of the best in the ring. I'm sorry, but his in-ring is phenomenal.
Oh, no, yeah. When I say not from an in-ring, Randy Orton is fucking awesome in the ring.
Okay.
I was just, when I compare him to Bret Hart, I think that Bret Hart's I think the best wrestler maybe of all time, in the top 3 of all time. Like from an in-ring standpoint.
Randy, you name an aspect that makes you successful in professional wrestling, and Randy succeeds in every. He checks every.
I think Randy Orton's a top 5 WWF superstar of all time.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. I put him in league with somebody, like if we're saying underrated or not underrated, I put him in league with William Regal. William Regal, people call him underrated every day. Why? Because he was never world champion. He was never this. He was never that. So there's he was underrated. However, Is he really underrated? Because you talk to anybody in the world, and they're going to say that he's one of the greatest.
Huh?
Nobody said he's bad. Nobody says, everybody gives him the credit that he's due. So is he really underrated? Or is he just not talked about enough because he hasn't accomplished that? Where Randy has accomplished that. So why isn't he not in that discussion?
Do you put Randy? Do you put Randy above Brett and Sean as greatest WWE, like all around, not just in ring? But do you put Randy
over Brett? Yes. Over Sean? No.
Okay.
I also don't put anybody over Sean.
So you think that Shawn Michaels is one of like the greatest WWF
Shawn Michaels
superstar?
Is the greatest performer that's ever performed under the WWE lights. That's been my thought. That's been my thought for 30 years, and it's not going to change anytime soon.
Is Sean on your Mount Rushmore?
Yes.
Okay. Sean's not on my Mount Rushmore, but I do my Mount Rushmore a little different.
Of course, I have different Mount Rushmores because it's all different criteria.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking just pure wrestling. Sorry, no, he's not. It's going to be Flair and Hart and Benoit and Angle. You know what I mean?
I put Sean over Flair in the ring.
It's a hard one.
Flair was great in the ring. Flair made people look good, but Flair's matches were pretty cookie cutter. You know what I mean? There was Sean had his spots that he would go to, but you put him in there with Kevin Nash, he's going to have a fantastic match. With Mankind, he's going to have a totally different match. With Brett, I think that Sean was more versatile than Flair.
100%. 100%. But I think that's more the performance than the wrestling ability.
Like for my Mount Rushmore, I look at it just for, who's making the most money and carrying the company. And my Mount Rushmore is Bruno, Hogan, Austin, and Cena. That's my WWF Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, and I get that.
Those guys carried the company for years, right?
That is definitely one of the Mount Rushmores.
Yeah.
But I can't look at it that black and white. There's got to be, for me, there's like a Mount Rushmore of Mount Rushmore.
100%. I agree with that. So where do you put Randy Orton then? If you're doing a top 10 WWF superstars of all time, whole package.
First of all, I'm going to tell you right now, we don't do top 10s around here. So if I was doing a top 7, see,
I don't get it.
He's on my top 7. All right.
I think he has to be, right?
He's on my top 7.
Let me ask you a couple names.
I'd really have to. What's that?
Let me ask you a couple names and tell me if he's above him or under. Undertaker.
Sure. No. Oh, it's so hard.
That's a hard one.
You know what, dude? I'm going to go ahead and say he's on par with Taker.
I think that's a fair answer. Fair answer. If you're looking at the whole picture, not just greatest character of all time, locker room leader, all that shit. If you're looking at everything, accomplishments, that Randy Orton's been a main event player since 2003, pretty much, man. Off and on. He's put people over. He's gotten himself over. He's been in some of the greatest matches and moments in company history. Legend killer. The RKO at WrestleMania, main eventing WrestleManias, all the world title reigns, feuds with Cena.
And every time you think, okay, well, he's done his thing. Now he's gone. He's fizzled out. We're not going to see him anymore. He has this like resurgence. He comes back as a fucking main eventer again. Yeah. He keeps doing it.
Look at him right now with RK Bro.
And that's not to say that's where he's going to end his career. He could be back in the WrestleMania main picture in 2 years from now.
Yeah.
He could. He really could.
He's that
good. And he's not 40, is he?
He's got to be close. Yeah, he's got to be in his 40s.
I think he's a year too younger than me.
He's got to be in his 40s.
I don't think so.
Let me look this up.
If he is, he's 40.
No, because he's been in the company for over 20 years, has he not?
Yeah, but I remember when he was the world's youngest champion, I remember being all pissy going,
he was 23.
Yeah, and I think I was too.
He's 41. Randy's 41.
Okay. I knew he was very close to my age. So 41, you're usually on your way out now. Usually. But you look at this motherfucker. Does he look like he's about to retire?
Oh God, no. Randy's got a lot left in the tank.
He's in the the best shape. He's probably one of the best looking guys on the roster. Yeah, throw more names.
Okay, how about Edge?
Oh, I'm sorry, but yeah, above Edge.
Triple H.
I put him above Edge. There's a lot of variables here. I'm a bigger Triple H fan than I am a Randy fan, but I think in the greater scheme of things, I'm going to go Randy.
How about John Cena? Sorry, we already talked about John Cena. Brock Lesnar.
Okay, but we didn't talk about John Cena here. We didn't. But we are putting him under John Cena.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Absolutely.
Brock Lesnar, I put him on par with Brock. I think Brock, Taker, and Randy are kind of on the same level.
Okay, I've got a couple good ones here. How about Randy Savage?
Over.
I agree. This one's going to be tough for you. Rowdy
And that
Piper.
hurts.
Rowdy Piper.
This is tough for me, and this fucking hurts, but over.
Andre the Giant.
Over.
The Ultimate Warrior.
Over.
Mick Foley.
Over, but not by much.
I like that answer. Ric Flair.
In WWE or in the grand scheme?
WWE.
Over.
How about The Rock?
Under.
Think he's under The Rock?
I think he's under The Rock. And I know the name's coming, and he's under Austin.
He's definitely under Austin.
Yeah.
I'm going to put him on par with Undertaker and Rock.
I think Rock's over Taker too. Rock took what Austin started and ran with it, and like Rock's pretty much responsible for an entire era of wrestling.
Yeah, that's why, like, for me, Bruno, Hogan,
Yeah.
Austin, and Cena.
I'm giving it to Rock, man.
How about Benoit, Chris Benoit?
Benoit versus Orton?
Yeah.
Oh, Orton
about-
by far.
How about Steamboat?
It's gonna be Orton, but only because of the draw power.
How about Perfect?
Again, Perfect never rose above the mid card, so I got to give it to Orton.
Ted DiBiase?
Orton.
Andre the Giant? Did I say that one?
You already said Andre. Come on, put him against. Do the obvious.
Which one? Kurt Angle?
That you're gonna put. Well, that's a great one. That is wow. Okay, now we're talking. Because here's the thing: if I put Kurt over, Orton, I'm also putting Kurt over the Undertaker. So I got to be careful here. I'm going Orton. What do you say?
I'm gonna go Orton as well.
Okay.
How about Bob
I
Orton?
was gonna say you put him against Piper, but you have to put him up against his dad yet.
I was just gonna say, how about Bob Orton,
Mm-hmm.
the inventor of the superplex? That's a fun conversation to have.
That's a fun conversation. I wrote a couple notes. I want to know if you have any on top of your head. Like the thing is this is the most pay-per-view matches. So I wrote down just a couple pay-per-view matches that I remember that I really loved. The first two I wrote down are both in the same year against the same guy. Remember back to 2011, he had two phenomenal matches with Christian.
Yeah,
one at SummerSlam and one at Over the Limit.
That SummerSlam match I really enjoy, especially.
Me too. And I would put those up there in his greatest pay-per-view matches.
Mm-hmm.
New Year's Revolution, the 2005, the Elimination Chamber.
Oh, that match is so good. And that's
Who
when
was
he was
all in
like
that? It was
a
like-
white meat baby's face there too.
Who all was that? That was like Cena. No, not Cena. Sorry.
No,
Triple H,
You're Triple H,
Edge.
Batista,
Benoit,
yeah,
and
Jericho, yeah.
Yeah.
And Sean was the referee.
Right. The other one I really liked, do you remember if this, I want to say the year was either 06 or 07. There was a four-way match between Orton, Edge, Cena, and Shawn Michaels. And I believe it was a Backlash.
I do kind of remember that.
It was a phenomenal match.
Was it Shawn or was it Triple H in there? It was Shawn.
It was Shawn.
I'm thinking of the triple threat with Edge and Triple H.
And we just talked about this a couple weeks ago, but we got to mention it again. Probably, maybe his best pay-per-view match of all time. I don't know. Backlash 04 against Cactus Jack.
Up there for sure. I really enjoyed his match at Vengeance 03 or 4 against Edge for the IC title, where he dropped the belt to Edge.
Yeah,
that match was really good. Winning the title from Benoit in Toronto.
So, and I got to mention it just because I know you love it so much. It's one of your favorite matches of all time. I do the outside with his match against Edge at WrestleMania.
Yeah. No, but his Backlash match against Edge was really good.
Was phenomenal. Yeah.
His feud against The Undertaker, his WrestleMania 21 match against The Undertaker was really good.
Do you put the Legend Killer up there as far as characters go?
It's so good. It's one of my favorite gimmicks of all time.
If we're ranking gimmicks or characters, Legend Killer's in my top 10, I think. That's a hard thing to say.
Top 20 for sure. For me,
yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to really sit down and think about 10. Mm-hmm.
Me too.
That time period where he was really getting the punt over, where he punted Vince McMahon after he won the Royal Rumble, was crazy good. Matches with guys like.
Can we talk about how innovative he's been too? Not only that punt was amazing, but I also love that DDT off the ropes he does.
Yeah.
And you would utilize that the best moments when he did it to I think he did it to Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
same build.
You like so good, so fucking good.
And then Shane came back and killed him.
Yeah.
So many guys that he's feuded with along the way too, from Mick Foley, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. Everyone forgets about all his great feuds, right? The match at Survivor Series where Shawn couldn't use the super kick, The Undertaker. You know what I mean? Cena.
You name
Flair.
The best in the business, and he's faced them.
There's a good one. Rick versus Ric Flair at Taboo Tuesday in the cage match.
Ooh.
That match is so good.
Proud with that.
Batista. He's fought everybody.
Yeah.
Part of Evolution. Yeah. Guys got to go down as one of the greatest.
Congratulations, Randy. Couldn't happen to a more deserving guy. I hope we get a good number of years left to Randy. This number is going to keep skyrocketing. He will at least hit the 200 mark, I think. Randy Orton, one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely. And let's see if your list is going to be
able to say that in a positive light. Usually, unfortunately, we have to talk about this after a guy died or after, but we're able to have this discussion about, focusing on this wrestler because of an accomplishment. Not only an accomplishment, one of so many accomplishments. And then you have all these people saying, oh, no, he's not one of the greatest. And you ask why. It always comes back to the same shit. Oh, remember that time he shit in a girl's bag?
Oh, we all love X-Pac, and he made a comment out of that.
You know what I mean? Like I'm so fucking over people being like, yeah, but he used to be a dick in the backstage.
So did Shawn Michaels.
It's like, he was also a 20-year-old kid. He was a piece of shit. Yeah, guess what? So was I at 20. I bet you were too.
So are you at 40.
All right. Are we ready to talk some Survivor Series?
I'm excited, man. I'm really excited to see what you've got on this list here. There's been some
I'm excited and scared at the same time because there's so many matches that there's so much room for you to be like, you're a fucking idiot.
I full disclosure, I get really confused in about the mid 2000s of a lot of matches. So, but I've got
do you want a spoiler? It's not going to be a problem.
That's fantastic. I'm excited to see what you got here. I don't want to wait anymore, man. Why don't you hit me with your number 7?
All right. So before I get into it, I want to do some criteria here.
Okay.
This is the best opening matches to Survivor Series. And I mean that in the most literal sense. That means no dark matches, no pre-show matches, no heat, no free-for-alls, on the proper pay-per-view only. All right. Opening matches for the pay-per-view. Also, when I was deciding on how to put these on the list, My criteria really was, because there's a lot of multi-man matches involved here, and these are big. This is a big four, so you want your big four pay-per-views to be huge, right? My criteria for opening matches, I've always believed that your two most important matches are your opener and your closer. Your opener's got to set the stage, man. Your opener's got to open up and want people to watch the rest of the show. So that was one of my major criteria. It doesn't matter how good the in-ring work was. If this shit wasn't getting popped, it's not on the list. You know, you need stars out there. You need great stories out there. You need drama, excitement. You want people fucking excited to see the shit from the beginning so that they can enjoy the rest of the show. That's what I want to see in all these openers. And I think you get that from our number 7. We're going to the year 2003. This is Team Angle, which is Kurt Angle, Bob Holly, John Cena, John Bradshaw, and Chris Benoit versus Team Lesnar, which is Brock Lesnar, Nathan Jones, A-Train, Big Show, and Matt Morgan.
This main event is backwards. The main event's on first. Greatest John Cena line of all time. I love this match.
I like this match a lot. I'm going to tell you, this is probably the one and only time Matt Morgan and Nathan Jones is going to make a fucking top 7.
I just look at the who's who in that though. Name Cena's team again.
Cena's team is the who's who, and Lesnar's team sucks balls. But you got Kurt Angle, Bob Holly, John Cena, Bradshaw, and Benoit. So what's that? 4 former world champions?
4 Hall of Famers.
Yeah. No,
I know Benoit will never get in.
No, but yeah.
This was like that awkward time where they were trying to feud Bob Holly with Brock Lesnar.
And then one of my notes is actually, how is Brock Lesnar the only good wrestler on his own team?
No, come on. Big Show's not terrible.
Brock, we've talked about this.
I like A-Train, by the way.
Big Show is my Kane. You know that.
Fair.
And Kane is your Big Show. So,
but I like A-Train. I'm a big fan of A-Train. I like this run of A-Train.
I respect Matt Bloom.
I like this. I like this run that he had. He had some real good matches.
I don't think he's a great worker though.
Him and Benoit had a fucking awesome match at the No Mercy the month before this.
So this was a great start with, you already referenced it, the Cena rap. Used to love those. I love, this is my favorite character Cena's ever done, Dr. Thugonomics. Watch it back one day and watch Tony Chimmel's face when Cena says, "I'm a giant whistle, so you can blow me." He oversells how disgusted he is to hear that word. It's so funny. I actually took notes this week, so bear with me. I feel Bradshaw kind of got jobbed in this. Bradshaw didn't get his due, but that's okay. I wish I remembered the backstory. Maybe you can remind your memory is much better than me. Why did Bob Holly hate Brock Lesnar so much?
Brock broke his neck as a shoot when Holly tried to sandbag him on a power bomb. So this was that awkward time, and then him and Holly had a terrible match at the Royal Rumble after this.
Okay, so that was legit heat then.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. Holly sandbagged him going up on a power bomb. So Brock just dropped him. Broke his neck. Brock just was like, "Fuck you." Yeah. This was actually, Holly had just returned. Like, this was one of his first matches back.
Okay. So they threw him in the ring with Cena. Way to go, Vince. Lesnar. Right from the get-go, like their first couple of years, you gotta say, man, I don't know if anybody had better chemistry with Brock Lesnar than John Cena did.
Yeah. And they would go on to have a really good match at Backlash.
I think John might be Brock's best opponent ever.
Yeah, they had that good match at Backlash earlier this year as well.
Just in case anybody who's watching it, if you're not sure that it's actually 2003, just check out Matt Morgan's haircut and you'll know. That was funny. Laugh.
Ha, 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 ha. I did a smirk and a smile. The YouTubers will see it.
Fuck me was Nathan Jones sloppy.
Yes.
What I don't know what they saw in him other than.
Well, come on. Well, bless
size.
you. Bless you, sir.
When exactly? Because I'm watching this match and I'm so blown away. At what point in time did fans decide that Cena couldn't wrestle?
After they got what he wanted and he won the belt.
Thank you. That is the correct answer. Because he wrestles like a fucking champ in this match.
Cena's great.
And then always a smart move in a ring like this. And always a great moment when you have John Cena F you the Big Show.
I wish they would have saved the spot for WrestleMania though. I think this is one of the first times that he got show up. I wish they would have saved it because that was the finish at WrestleMania.
Because he fought Big Show at the very next Mania, right?
Yeah, which was about 3 months later, right?
Right.
Or 4 months.
All right.
Whatever. Good start. Love this match. Good start.
My number 6 is a match we just talked about, I believe last week. I'm excited to talk about it in long form. We're going to 1996, and we're doing Furnace and LaFawn and the Godwins versus Owen and Bulldog and the Rockers.
Okay. I'm surprised this is on your list. I'm pleasantly surprised.
It's so good. It's so good. I love the idea, rather than like 4 guys together, it's 2 tag teams each.
Yeah, I do like that as well.
It's LaFawn and Furnace and the Godwins, Owen Bulldog and the Rockers. You know, it's I like that. That was cool. They don't do that very often. One thing I don't really remember, you have to remind me, were the new Rockers actually over as heels?
No, absolutely not.
No. Okay. Bulldog had the best kind of heat at this point in time in 1996. People loved to hate Bulldog in the best kind of way.
And Owen was just the best.
JR does such an amazing job of putting over 2 guys that no one's ever heard of in Furnace and LaFawn.
I don't even remember them like hyping
superstars.
I don't even remember them like hyping up this match or like even announcing it. Like I just remember they just walked out and I was like, oh, who the fuck are these guys?
If I'm sitting in MSG that night and I'm just watching the match, I'm like, who the fuck are these guys? You know
that spot though where
but if you're watching on pay-per-view, JR makes you believe in these dudes. He really does.
That's that spot too that I think that really got him over was the reverse superplex.
Yeah. Which brings me to my next question. Why the fuck did WWF not push these guys?
I would say lack of personality.
But they were so good.
That's Vince though, right?
They were so good. I'm going to go on a limb here and say that Phil LaFawn may have been one of the best in-ring wrestlers on the roster in 1996.
Yeah, he gets a lot of praise for his work in Japan in the 90s as well. And he needs to be in the discussion for best dropkick of all time.
No shit.
He's up there with Brunzell and Storm.
He's in the ring with Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith, 2 of the greatest wrestlers of that era. And he's holding his own and he looks amazing. It's
and they all had ties with Stampede Wrestling too, right?
That's right. Yeah. I forgot how fun the Godwins were as faces.
Yeah, with Hillbilly.
I really did. Yeah. Even though when he wanted to, Phineas looked mean as shit.
Did he do the spot in this match where he spits up in the air and catches it? You ever see him do that spot?
Yeah. 2 questions for you before we move on. Number 1, Al Snow, underrated?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Second, I have a problem, and I want to know if I'm just overthinking or if you are okay with this. So they have a bunch of the outside enforcing referees.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is downtown Bruno himself, Harvey Whippleman.
Okay.
I have a problem with him being a referee at this point in time.
Harvey?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm still thinking kayfabe. He was already one of the most devious managers of all time. If I'm watching from a kayfabe standpoint, I'm watching this product. How am I to believe that dirty piece of shit that I've seen do dirty things can be a biased referee?
Yeah, but they had lots of people.
An
Like
unbiased
Danny Davis did the same thing. Like a lot of people moved into reffing after the ring career was over.
Didn't Danny do the opposite? Wasn't Danny a referee and then became?
Danny was like, well, he was a worker, but they gimmicked him as a referee. Then he became a wrestler. Then he went back to referee.
And then he went back to refereeing.
After they banned him for life. By the way, I just read that he's coming out of retirement to fight a match at 65 years old.
He's my other big goal for 2022, by the way.
I told you I found his email address.
All right. Well, we got to reach out. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, sorry.
Twice. Moving on to 2005. Not a whole lot up until this era did they start the show with a singles match. But here we have it. We are looking at the first of 7 matches between these two gentlemen, and it's Booker T versus Chris Benoit in 2005.
Awesome. I love the best of 7 series in both companies.
Yeah. You want to know how to start a pay-per-view? Do it with 2 of the best wrestlers on your roster and just let them feud. Mm-hmm. Let them do their thing. And that's how that's how you pump your crowd. And they did that night. I will say this.
That'd be a fun list to do. Top 7 best of 7s.
Is there 7?
I can think of 4 off the top of my head.
All right.
Do I count Hangman Page and Roman Reigns? Counted out
no,
wrestling?
You do not.
Oh, because they're having a barn burner going on over there.
I will say this. The only negative thing I'll say this. I hate Taz so fucking much.
Yeah, Taz.
He might be the worst commentator in the history of WWE, and that counts are Donovan.
This was like right at the beginning, or like maybe like just after the beginning of annoying Taz. Because 2002 Taz with Michael Cole. Was it 2002? Yeah, 2002 Taz with Michael Cole was fucking awesome.
This was bad, dude. This is just he almost ruins the match.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's horrible. Putting Booker over in match 1, especially the way they did with the cheap win with the ropes, was beautiful. Great booking, great way to make you want to watch the rest of this series.
Is it not crazy?
Not only did they put over this feud and make you want to watch the rest of the series, but it was a great match that made you want to watch the rest of the pay-per-view.
Is it not crazy that they did this twice, Benoit and Booker?
The fact that they could get away with doing it twice, yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Make it work.
Their best of 7 in WCW is some of the best. That's one of the best things WCW ever did.
I do put that series above by a bit. Like the WCW series, I think is better than the WWE series.
Oh, 1,000,000% it is. Not that the WWF one was bad. But.
No. My last point to this match is just something silly. I guarantee no one has ever noticed this. I only noticed it the 3rd time I watched this match in the last week. I missed it the first 2 times. During the match, Booker has Benoit down in like a rest hold. And there's a dude in front row doing the fucking like Austin Powers fucking down the stairs thing. He's behind the security barrier and you see his head. He's like,
that's amazing. People probably just ran over and be like, stop doing that right now.
And then the camera changes, blah, blah, blah. They goes back. You see the guy again. So funny.
I love that spot.
Genius.
I like when they do that in The Office with Michael Scott. No, Michael, the coffee in the warehouse tastes so much better.
Moving on to my number 4, another traditional Survivor Series match. We're doing 1989. We're doing the Dream Team, Dusty Rhodes, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Red Rooster, and Tito Santana taking on the Enforcers, the Big Boss Band, Bad News Brown, the Model Rick Martel, and the Honky Tonk Band.
I love this match. And the crowd was so hot for this match, too.
Crap, my very first night. You want to open the show to a pop, you open with Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, man.
The fans, like, don't get me wrong. They gave due to everybody else, but the minute Dusty's music hit,
massive.
The fans went fucking loco. It was
Massive.
amazing.
Yeah, I think this is one of Dusty's highlights in the company is this match.
I would say so. I loved his feud with Boss Man.
Yeah, so did I.
You know, and with him coming out with the nightstick in hand, and he's ready to go. Love that.
I love Dusty's team in this.
Two of my favorite feuds are happening at the same time right now, and it's great because Dusty's coming out with that, but also Martel and Santana.
Yeah,
had just broken up, right?
They broke up at the beginning of the year. Yeah. April.
So this is really so they're coming head to head here, and they came face to face at least 3 times in this match and really went for it.
I really wish they had a one-on-one match.
Martel was the MVP of this match. I'm gonna say that flat out. Martel was the MVP of this match. Down, no arguments.
Tito was good in this match too.
Yeah, 100%. But you know I love Rick Martel.
Yeah, I think we all do. And if you don't, then what the hell's your problem?
Exactly. Here's a question for you. This might come up every number. Who knows? I keep asking you, is this guy underrated or not? Terry Taylor.
I think he's rated.
He's on it.
Yeah.
Where should be?
Like he's a great in-ring performer, but he didn't really do anything anywhere with it. You know what I mean? He had a good run in Mid-South, which was fine. But yeah, I think he's rated perfectly. I don't think people are like, Terry Taylor is really something special. He's good, good hand, solid hand, great guy to have on your roster. But yeah, I'm not saying he's underrated. Apparently he's a hell of a stooge too, if you ask certain people.
Oh yeah, especially if you ask Brother Love himself. I find they told 3 really good stories during this match. The obvious, story, but they were also telling, the 4 stories. They were telling the Tito and Rick story.
Yeah.
They were telling the Boss Man and Dusty story being told here that I love. We've gotten through over half the match, and Bad News Brown hasn't touched Matt yet.
Yeah.
Their whole time it's like, can Bad News Brown get along with these guys? Bad News Brown, he's a lone wolf. He doesn't. No, this is not Bad News Brown. He doesn't, and that's been the story for weeks now. That story on commentary all night, and then finally he gets in, and he beats the fuck out of Terry Taylor, and then this man ended up fucking getting into it, and he leaves.
Classic Bad News. He does it every year.
It's a phenomenal story, and I love it. It makes the match. They also
second year in a row he did it too.
They made Boss Man super strong.
Yeah, even in defeat.
Yeah, they made him even with. I haven't been mentioning anybody who hasn't been seeing these matches. I haven't been mentioning who wins match in this particular match. It's the Dream Team that goes over.
Yeah, Tito and Dusty survive, right?
Tito and Dusty and no, it's
was Brutus. Sorry,
Tito. It was Brutus. Rick L takes out Tito.
Yeah, fuck Brutus. I just don't want to give him any type of credit.
I think Tito's the. Yeah.
Yeah, I just forget that I just don't like giving Brutus credit.
Too bad. We're about to talk about it a little bit more. My number 3. Such a good match that I didn't remember how fucking good it was. We're going all the way back to the very first Survivor Series match in history, 1987. We got Team Savage. That's Macho Man Randy Savage, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Jake the Snake Roberts, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Team Honky. That's the Honky Tonk Man, Dangerous Danny Davis, King Harley Race, Hercules Hernandez, and Outlaw Ron Bass.
What a team Savage is here.
100%.
I thought this was going to be your number 1.
Did you not hear the names I just said on the other side?
100%.
Motherfuckers.
100%. But I mean, Savage, Steamboat, Jake, and Duggan alone are like that. That's the 80s I just threw up the 80s in my hand right here. You know what I mean?
So that entire team is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Honky, only two of them are in, unfortunately.
Honky and Harley, right?
Honky and Harley.
Who is it? Bass Davis. Who's the last one? And Hercules?
Hercules, yeah.
Hercules. What a guy looks like $1 million here.
That's one of my notes is Hercules. You want to talk underrated? I think Hercules is underrated. I don't think he gets talked about enough. I think he's phenomenal. He looks amazing. He's not a horrible worker. He's really not. And I wonder why. Maybe it was a bad attitude. Who knows? But I wonder why he didn't get over more than he did.
I think he had a fine run though. I don't think he needed to go any bigger. He had a little run with Hogan when Hogan was going through all the heels.
Yeah.
He was in the Heenan family. He had the babyface turn after, right? Had great theme music. Yeah. Love Hercules music.
All I wrote was
you're gonna make. I was gonna say you're gonna make Jay from Good Friends Better Enemies really happy because he loves Hercules and has not stopped telling me to watch Jake the Snake and Hercules from SummerSlam '98. I haven't watched yet, Jay, but it's on my list.
I didn't know he was a big Hercules fan. There's something else I have in common with Jay. Very good. All I wrote here was Macho equals pop. Because when he comes, number one, when he comes out in the beginning, like when they play, I think it's Brutus's music for everybody else, and then they play Pomp and Circumstance for Randy and the
Steamboats music.
Was it Steamboats?
Yeah,
okay.
Brutus didn't have music yet.
Okay, so but when they play Macho's music, the crowd goes nuts. Every time Macho tags in, the crowd goes nuts. This
is
great.
Brand new babyface Macho, right? This is coming right off the heels of that angle where they push Elizabeth down and hit her with the guitar, hit him with the guitar, which we cover in great detail on the third episode of Classic Match Classroom. On the short hiatus right now, it will be back.
I wrote down Danny Davis should have been one of the biggest heels of the era.
Great strut he had.
I again, one of those guys. Why I wonder why he didn't get more over. Why wasn't he pushed more? I think he was great.
What are you gonna do with him though?
I don't know. I just see a lot of talent in him.
He was tiny. He was small in a time where it was a land of giants.
I know.
He was just subpar in the ring. He wasn't like fantastic. He was a good worker, but he wasn't like holy shit. You see Danny Davis's match last night, and I love the heel referee gimmick, but after he was done it, like now he just comes out with these awful tights.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I was going to say. I'm like, I wonder what he could have done with the different guys.
Yeah, I would like to have seen. I like Danny Davis.
No, you're right. There's only so much you can do with that gimmick, but I think he's very talented, and maybe he could have done more with something.
He used to get a lot of heat though, man. Especially the year before that when he's fighting at WrestleMania, teaming with the Hart Foundation against the Bulldogs. He cost everybody their titles. Like he was, dating back to Macho Man beating Tito Santana for the IC title. They went with Danny Davis there. Yeah, he was a big time heel referee, and it was great. It got over big time.
There was some great in-ring work between Hacksaw and Harley Race in this.
Their brawl was so good. Did you ever see the brawl they had at the Slammy Awards later this year?
I don't think so.
They fight like backstage and the food. They crash through the thing. It's so good.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I watched it at some point. I just forget. Huge pop for Jake Roberts, of course. I find the match was wonderfully paced.
Mm-hmm.
It was just one of those perfectly paced matches. Very fast, but not too fast. You know what I mean? I like that. I call it a questionable finish.
I love it.
Really? You like the honky. Okay, I'll tell you what saves it. Jesse saves it. Thank you. If it wasn't for Jesse being like, well, of course he left him out too. Like he's just 3 against 1. He's smart. He doesn't want to get hurt.
What happens if he get hurt? He has to lose the IC title. That's a lot of money it's going to cost him.
Jesse saved that finish.
And Honky's a heel. Why would Honky try to fight 3 guys, especially one of them being Savage, who wants to murder him, right? I also like the little story that they tell where they tease Ken Savage and Steamboat get along after the WrestleMania match that was earlier the year before that. they were still,
Yeah.
I guess it was earlier this year actually, because this was the year before, sorry. But yeah, Ken Savage and Steamboat get along. Like I really like that.
Hitting my number 2. Finally, we get some Bobby Heenan. There's been a real lack of Bobby Heenan so far. Have you noticed that?
I have.
It's been a lot. Just been a lot of
We're going to
a lot of Jesse Ventura.
We're going to 91, aren't we?
We are not going to 91.
What?
We are going. Oh shit! Wrong notes. We are not going. We're not going to Bobby Heenan.
Damn it!
And we're definitely not going to 91. We're going to 1994.
94. Wow, this is your number 2.
This is my number 2, and
The
I'm gonna
Teamsters.
the Teamsters versus the Bad Guys. Stay with me here. I was talking about this off air, and I need to justify myself here.
Yeah, you got to
it's the
sell me
Bad-
on this as your number 2.
So it's the Bad Guys, Razor Ramon, the 1-2-3 Kid, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, Head Shrinker Fatu, and Sione, who I have zero fucking memories of.
What, you
Was he
don't
a head
remember the
shrinker?
Barbarian being the head shrinker?
I don't remember this dude at all.
He had a cup of coffee. That's the Barbarian, right?
That was the Barbarian?
Yeah,
He looked so different.
I know. They did a good job.
Yeah, no memories of this dude. The Teamsters, Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Jeff Jarrett, Jim Neidhart, and Owen Hart.
That's one of the greatest Survivor Series teams of all time.
I'll tell you why it's my number 2. When I first started watching this, I'm like, all right, yeah, okay. Diesel fucking squashes a bunch of guys.
Oh, they made
Okay.
it look great.
Honorable mention, fine. Then the fucking shit hits the fan. Stuff starts happening. Let me go through my notes, and I'll bring us there. Number 1, was there anybody more over in 1994 from a crowd standpoint than Razor fucking Ramon?
No, Brett.
No
Maybe
way.
Brett. Maybe Brett.
Maybe. I think Brett was the most. I think Razor was the most over wrestler in 1994. I wrote down I want to punch Shawn Michaels' mullet.
And his goofy ponytail.
He had just he usually had the mullet with the short hair and then the long hair in the back, but he had the short hair with the fucking weird braid in the back. It was horrible. So Diesel cleans out Fatu, Kid, and Sione. Like that's fucking basically squashes them. Owen and Double J cause Bulldog to get counted out. Now we're down. It's a 5-on-1. And I'm rolling my eyes at this point. But it's so well done. It's such a great story. With Diesel just fighting. Yes, it's 5-on-1, but it's not. It's Diesel versus Razor. Diesel's the only one really doing work. And Shawn just yelling like a prick from the fucking ropes. And then when finally he tags in Shawn and Shawn wants to do something, he's yelling at Diesel, giving orders to Diesel, even though Diesel is the captain of the team. He's giving orders to Diesel saying, no, you get over here, you hold him, and I'm gonna fucking super kick him. He holds him, and Razor moves. He eats a super kick for I think it was Gorilla said, was it Gorilla?
Yeah, as Gorilla, yeah.
As Gorilla would say, for the 3rd time on television this year.
Yeah, cost him the IC title.
Exactly. He's like, so that's it. Diesel is pissed. Shawn's pissed too, so he just fuck it, I'm out of here. His teammates follow him out, trying to yell at him, trying to get him back. Diesel fucking just starts nailing everybody. Teammate, foe, it doesn't matter. Diesel's pissed. Follows Shawn out. He's chasing after him. Shawn's trying to get back. Owen looks like he's about to cry. He's like, go back. We're going to lose. Oh, so good. And then they all get counted out. And Razor, who 2 seconds ago was in a 5-on-1 handicap match, wins the whole fucking thing.
I do like Razor's reaction when he gets up and just kind of shrugs his shoulders. He's like,
It's such a great story. It's so well done. It's so entertaining. And I want it. This is why it's my number 2. I want to bring you back to my criteria. The entertainment factor alone makes you want to be like, okay, this is what they're doing tonight. Let's watch this show. You know what I mean?
I can't put this match above the last match. So I love the last match. It's so good. But I do have a question for you.
Sure.
So you complained that you didn't like the finish of the last match. What's the difference between this finish and that finish? I think this finish was worse.
Like I said, it wasn't the last match. I liked it. I did like it because Jesse made it make sense. But if I'm in the crowd and there's no commentary, all I'm seeing is the guy being like, "Oh, fuck this," and walking away. Where there's a story being told. You have cowardly Shawn Michaels running away from his teammate because he fucked him over on accident, and then that teammate chasing him off, and the rest of the teammates trying to fix everything. The one and only thing that doesn't make sense is if you want to put some logic to it. If I'm Owen Hart and I'm actually worried about losing this thing,
I'm going back.
instead of I'm going to jump back in the ring, and then once everybody else gets counted out, all it is now it's a one-on-one between you and Razor. And and between you and Razor, you're the fresh man, Owen. You can win this.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to throw that out the window. I don't have to worry about that. But I think it makes more sense than the finish of the last one, to be honest.
I can't agree with that. I can't. I like I think the other one made more sense.
And then let's continue on. You got Shawn running out and getting in the car, and they're like, Diesel's coming. He's fucking drives the fuck out of there. It's great.
Yeah, I do. I think this match should maybe make my top 7. If not, it would be a really close honorable mention. I do remember a spot that I really liked, and it was so stupid, but I just like the story they were telling when Fatu got eliminated because he wasn't used to wearing boots. Because Lou Albano was trying to humanize the head shrinkers. That was the gimmick going on at the time. He kept fucking with his boots and got rolled up. I do like that.
Hey, and Gorilla Monsoon got mad. He's like, you shouldn't be wearing boots.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, that was good. Which brings us to our number 1, which is gonna be no surprise to you because I kind of spoiled it. We're going to 1991. This is Team Flair. That's the Nature Boy Ric Flair versus the Mountie versus the Ric Flair, the Mountie, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and the Warlord versus Team Piper. That's Roddy Piper, Bret the Hitman Hart, Virgil, and the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith.
Awesome match. I am not surprised that this is your number 1. You do got a thing though. Your top 3 all have very similar finishes, eh?
Yeah. I kind of noticed that when I was doing my notes. Very true.
I think this would have been my number 2. Okay. It would have fought for my number 1. That 1987 match for me is just that. Those two for me. Those are my 2.
I'm willing to concede to you that 87 could be my number 2, and it almost was. But 91 is just so fun to me, especially remember, we're not talking about matches, we're talking about opening matches. Yeah. It's got to be a great, not only does it have to be a great match, it has to be a great opening match. And it was just so fun. You're opening a pay-per-view with Ric fucking Flair.
With the blurred out title. This was a great time.
So here's the thing. You and I, it's funny, here's the thing. All these years, it took me to meet you to know the truth about this. You told me the truth just the other day about the blurred title. I didn't know that he had already relinquished the title back to the Crockett's.
Yeah.
And that they didn't have it, so that's why they blurred it out. So this is probably why I've never noticed this until today, when I was rewatching it for the 3rd time. Flair's holding the title up, and he fucking moves it a bit, and the blur's there, and it doesn't cover the strap, so you see the WWF logo on the fucking strap.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, can you please tell the story of why they blurred that title?
Well, the gimmick was that Flair had come over claiming to be the real world's heavyweight champion, and the WWF didn't want to recognize that title, so every time he came out on TV, they blurred the title out.
Yeah.
saying that this isn't our champion. We don't recognize this belt. They just buried the title, which was genius, right? Like, because they let it be on TV for a little while, and then I think they got a cease and desist from WCW because Flair kept the belt. I'm pretty sure Flair ended up keeping the belt, but I think they got sued, so they had to stop using the belt. So they did, and they just brought their own tag team title belt out and blurred it out.
Well,
Genius.
I mean, I mean, jump over to 1997 and ask Vince. Nobody would ever bring a title that's not theirs onto a program, right?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Piper and Flair's chemistry was so good.
Flair and Piper had amazing chemistry. Really, really good. The pops they got when they were in the ring together, but the in-ring work they had together was amazing.
I love when Piper throws his flurry of jabs and punches, and just the way Flair sells it, does the power walk out, face flop. Yeah. Big time.
Couple really big pops in this. Obviously, Flair gets his heel pop, but Piper gets a big pop. But the two biggest pops, I'm going to say, go to both Brett and Bulldog.
Yeah, Brett was really ready to break through at this point.
Yeah, Brett got because he was the first out of the curtain, and when his music hit, holy shit, the crowd lose it. But they were on fire for my boy. They were on fire for Roddy. You have Flair. So this is such an interesting way of booking. Flair took out Bulldog, and Piper took out Warlord. So each captain has a pinfall, but then the rest goes to shit. So this is when you were right in the middle of the Virgil leaving DiBiase storyline. So Virgil gets to get his hands on DiBiase, which is fun for the crowd. The crowd gets super hot for Flair and Piper, but then it just goes off the fucking rails, and everybody just gets in the ring and starts beating the shit out of each other. And everybody gets DQ'd except for Flair.
Yeah, I love this. And Bobby Heenan was so good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love when he's like, oh, I think I'm going to have to leave. I have to go help him.
You sit down, Bob. You ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Gorilla and Bobby were so good at this point.
I won't lie. I'm surprised to hear you say that this wouldn't be your number one.
It's up there. Like it's close for me, man. Like I said, flip a coin between this one and 87. I'm interested to hear your honorable mentions because I have two.
Honorable mentions. Okay, before we go into honorable mentions, I have to ask you, what do you think of my order?
I think it's pretty good. I might tweak some stuff out. There's definitely a match that I think I would have put on over your Furnace and LaFont one.
Really?
Yeah, I just thought it was a really exciting
match.
You're
the reason I really went back to pay attention to that match.
I know, and I get it.
Yeah.
But I for me, 2002, that table match I thought was really, really good.
That is an honorable mention.
It is. I really enjoy that one. This one,
for those who don't know, that's the Dudley Boys and Jeff Hardy versus the 3-minute warning and Rico.
I'll name a couple, and then like if you got it in front of you, read off who's on the matches, and if not, then
sure.
I'll say it. For me, a biased one because I was there. 2016, the women's match, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, I thought was really good.
I do not have that. No,
I think it's like Charlotte. I can't remember who's on it, but I really enjoy it. The Shield versus the New Day, I thought was really good.
Yeah.
There was a really fun match. It wouldn't make my list, but I just want to give it an honorable mention because I'm a sucker for the old school. It was, I think it's Team Flair, which is Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Ron Simmons. Is that the opener?
Oh, yeah.
That's against the Spirit Squad?
Yeah, dude, that's 2006. It's Dusty, Flair, Simmons, and Slaughter. Yeah, that's a definite honorable mention for sure.
The Team Raw from that I'm talking about was Charlotte, Bayley, Nia, Alicia Fox, and Sasha, with Dana Brooke in their corner versus Team SmackDown, Becky, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Naomi, and Natty. I really enjoy that one.
Cool.
Team NXT versus Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, I thought was pretty good. I don't think it would make my 7.
It was too much.
Yeah.
I hope they never do the 3-team thing again. It was just too much for me.
Yeah, I think I would have slid 2002's table match on there, and that would maybe be the only tweak I would make. I would have probably put the Teamster match a little bit higher. It would have been on my list, but it would have been like maybe the top part of the list.
Sure.
Just because I think from an in-ring standpoint, it wasn't up to par with the rest of them. From an entertainment standpoint, nailed it bang on.
And I was going for more entertainment than that, right?
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, because I'm talking about opening a major pay-per-view.
Yeah, no,
pumping up those fans.
There is one, and I told you this off air. 1988 is the second Survivor Series of all time.
Yes, sir. First honorable mention was almost my number 7. The Blue Blazer, Brutus Barber Beefcake, Jim Brunzell, Sam Houston, and the Ultimate Warrior versus the Honky Tonk Man, Ron Bass, Dangerous Danny Davis, the Bad News Brown, and Greg Valentine. What a fun match.
Absolutely it is. I told you this off air. I never knew that this was the opener to that pay-per-view.
Okay.
Until about 5 years ago. Because
we watched the
Coliseum home video changed the orders of it, and they put the tag team match, which would be on my top 7 for sure. Like that match is so good. But yeah, so I never knew that was an opener forever. But yeah, bang out the rest of your honorables.
So, well, before I do that, I got to tell you a couple trends I noticed watching. Did you know that the only man to open the first 3 in a row was the Honky Tonk Man?
Brutus too, or no?
No, Brutus did the first 2, but not the third.
Yeah, because 89 wasn't the third, right? Yeah. No. 87, 88.
87, 88, 89. He didn't do 89. He wasn't in 89.
Yeah, he was on the Dream Team. He still survived with Dusty.
Okay, so maybe I guess Brutus did. Okay, my bad.
I have one more honorable mention as well. And I think it would have made my list.
And Warrior opened 2 years in a row. And it's funny, he was the sole survivor both years. Weird how, not 2 years in a row, but 2 years in general. Weird how that works, eh?
1990 would be on my honorable mention.
Yeah, of course it would.
I love that match. LOD, the Warrior, and Kerry Von Erich.
88's better than 80. I have it as an honorable mention, but 88's a better match.
Yeah, that's one of the best Survivor Series teams of all time, too. I don't care what anyone says.
You know how we used to talk about, back in the day, you always used to talk about, Kerry Von Erich could have been Warrior's brother that looked so much alike. I said the same thing about Sam Houston.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I love me some Sam Houston, by the way.
In the ring with Warrior. Holy shit.
And if Jonah's listening to this, I'm still waiting for my autographed Sam Houston picture, Jonah.
Ooh. Moving on, I got 2001 Christian versus Al Snow.
I love this match. I'm glad you mentioned it. Yeah, one of my favorites as well.
2004 for the Cruiserweight title, Spike Dudley versus Billy Kidman versus Chavo Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, that does not sound like it would be bad at all.
Yeah. And my last one is 2013. It's the Shield with the Real Americans. That's Cesaro and Jack Swagger versus the Usos and the two Rhodes brothers, Dustin and Cody.
Not bad. I'm gonna give one more too. It wouldn't make my list, but just because I thought one person in the match was super entertaining. I can't remember the year, but it is the Usos versus Los Matadors versus Goldust and Stardust versus Damian Mizdow and the Miz. This was just Mizdow at his peak of awesomeness. So
can I be honest?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I got so like
Mizdow.
This is gonna be. I started watching and I was like, fuck this.
I just thought Mizdow was good in it.
I always loved Mizdow. Mizdow was a great gimmick. So it's been a while since we fought over my list. I don't think it's going to happen this week.
I'm not going to fight you on it. I would have maybe made a couple tweaks here and there, but I would give you I'd give you a 90 to 95% approval rate on this week. I might have changed the order a little bit, but that's our history.
You're not a real teacher, right?
I'm not. Oh, wrong show. Wrong show. Shit. Yeah, no, I would. I give you 2 thumbs up. I would have maybe made a tweak or 2 here. I would have probably put the table match in from 02 just because I thought that was a car crash and I thought it was well laid out.
Yeah, it was a car crash, but I don't even think that's top 10 for me.
I have fond memories of it. I have to rewatch it.
It didn't ever contend to be a 7. Wow.
I have really fond memories. I really like that pay-per-view. Suck it, Tyrone. It's a good pay-per-view. I don't care what you say. All right, man. Well, that puts a bow on your thing. It's my turn next week.
Yeah, bud. What are we doing?
Next week, it's a list I've been putting together for a little bit. I've stopped and started it, and I think I'm going to go ahead and try to pull the trigger on it next week, just because I don't know what else to do, and it's perfect timing because we're right in the middle of the Barrie Wrestling All Ontario Cup. So I'm going to finally count down what I think are the top 7 tournaments of all time. Now, these tournaments
is heavy, man. This is
yeah,
hard.
I'm gonna miss a bunch of them, but it's gonna be one like tournaments that happened in one night. Like I can't go back and watch 30 super G1s and super juniors and all that stuff, right? I don't have time to rewatch the entire Cruiserweight Classic, which would probably be number 2, if you're going off the top of my head here. So they have to be one night tournaments. You know what I mean? So that's where we're going.
Okay. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm terrified. I'm taking on a lot here, and I don't have a lot of time. I've been busy in my life lately, so but I've been putting a list together for a few months on this one.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna do a pretty good job, and I'm gonna have a couple deep cuts in there.
Good enough.
All right.
I
got
brother.
Nothing else, man.
Well, if you haven't listened to yesterday's edition of Showtime with Mike and Tyler, go back, hit that. It's on YouTube. I mean, they're quick lessons. They're never more than 15 minutes. So go back, hit that. They're always fun.
Yeah, and I'll be sober this week too. What a treat.
What a treat.
2 weeks in a row. I don't like this.
So, and if you're missing any of our other shows, everything can be found on www.canada7.com.
Yeah, like and subscribe to that. Leave us some comments. We love seeing the comments.
Our YouTube's doing great right now. We're over 200 subs. We'd love to see that number rise and rise and rise and rise. So if you haven't hit that little sub button yet, please go and do that.
Yeah, and tell a friend.
Tell a friend.
Take us home.
What does Bruce say? Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a wrestler.
So yeah, something like that.
All right, guys. On behalf of the greatest man to ever wrestle at Survivor Series, Roddy Piper, just because he was my number 1. We've been counted out.
Cheers.